Hi, this is Ellen Callan, creator of Alexis OShay, and here in my workroom is Alexis OShay as you see her when she comes out of her box. Now this video has been requested on how you can cut her hair. On Facebook I had trimmed her hair to about wrist length. This particular one I'm just going to trim off one layer. So we've had some discussions, a lot of discussions about hair. So let me talk a little bit about Alexis and her hair. Her hair is actually made out of nylon thread. So it comes sewn into her head, opposed to being a wig, which is what the majority of the 18-inch products are utilizing. When it's sewn into her head, it's sewn with a sewing machine by hand. So we do have some variations doll to doll. Some of the dolls have very thick hair. If you have a doll that has excess hair, very thick hair, which is good, also it creates more chunky layers just by the necessity or the fact that there is more hair on her head. The amount of hair that I have specified was based upon coverage of the actual head so that there wouldn't be too much scalp showing through during various styles. So this particular Alexis has a good amount of hair, not too much, not too little. And so we're just going to go through and do a tutorial on how to cut the hair if you wish for her hair to be just a little bit shorter. The tools we're going to use is this little brush that I was able to get at the local store, the beauty supply store. It was 99 cents. It has nylon bristles with little balls on the top that help keep it from scratching Alexis. So any brush similar to this would be fine, and you can see you don't have to spend a lot of money. I like this one because it's small in size, which it would fit the small hands of girls who might be playing with Alexis. The second thing we're going to use is just a pair of shears. These are just sewing shears. Now remember, it's just nylon thread on her head, so the sewing shears should be fine. You don't have to have special hair cut scissors, but I do recommend that your scissors are sharp so that the hair does get cut easily. Now I'm going to start by turning Alexis around. I have her on a stand just to make it easy for me to show this to you. However, Alexis does stand very easily on her own, and often when I cut the hair, I am cutting her without her being in her stand. Alright, so here we can see that the hair is about skirt length. I'm going to cut it so it's fingertip length. So let me kind of show you where my target is so you can kind of see where her hands are. So what we have are a few layers back here. Here's our shortest layer, which comes about to the top of Alexis' wrists. And then we have one that's slightly lower, which is where I'm going to cut it. It's about fingertip. And then one that's about skirt level. So this is the amount of layers that you're going to have with your Alexis doll friend. Now I'm going to start by just making a good clean cut that's going to take off the majority of the bulk. So I'm using my scissors as a ruler, so you can see there's this nice long line. I'm going to keep it straight across, and I'm just going to cut freehand. Notice when I'm cutting in this dry cut method, I'm not forcing the hair, and I don't even hold it at this point, but I reach it across, and then as I'm cutting, I gently draw, let the scissor fall back. So as I'm cutting, you'll feel the resistance, and the scissor will want to move backward, and that gives me this really nice clean cut from a very first try. Okay? And so this can be a very quick process. The techniques I'm using are the same techniques that you would see used inside a hair salon and cutting yourself. So the first thing we do is just remove the bulk so that we can get down to refining our cut. Now I recommend that you start longer than what you want your end product to be, so that if you make any mistakes, you can go back and you can slowly cut and adjust. Okay? Now we want to, of course, make sure that Alex's head, or Alexis, now you know Alex is her nickname, So you'll hear me use both Alex and Alexis. So you'll adjust her head, make sure that it's straight so you're going to get a good cut. So here you can see I'm a little bit long on this side, but we'll adjust that later. The next step is just to brush through the hair, and then I'm going to use my fingers as a tool. I'm going to pull the hair down, and then see how I can find the things that I missed, and I'm just going to cut following the line that I'm trying to create. In this case, I'm going to have a very slight graduated line up towards the front. So you can see the difference between the two. So I'm just going to snip that away using the same technique. And then I'm going to go back and blend. Now you can cut Alexis' hair when it's wet if you would like. I prefer dry cuts because I find when it's wet, it just slips. It's too hard for the scissors to really get a clean cut for me. So by using this technique where I pull it down with my fingers, I'm able to pull out, you can see there's a little bit of waviness in her hair. I'm able to pull that down and be able to get all the fibers into a nice, neat little bundle for me to be able to trim. So we would follow that process all the way around to the other side. Now I'm just going to remove, you can see I haven't removed too much of her hair. I'm going to move that to the side. And now let's kind of talk about how we get around to the front. When your hair is all in the back, if you cut it to the same length, when you bring it forward, you'll find that it's actually longer when you draw the line across. In this case, what we want is we want the hair to have a nice line all the way around, and I'm going to graduate it just a little bit up. It gives it a really nice finish. So again, we're just brushing. I'm going to clear out some of these ends that I can see. Now I'm pulling again closely. I'm going to use my scissors as a line, and I'm going to just trim up and give me a nice line that I'm looking for. Okay? And then you move back. Constantly adjusting. Okay, you can see I got a little bit off right here, so you just keep snipping away little bits at a time until you get your perfect cut. Okay? Now from the front, you want to make sure that the ends are the same on both sides. All right, so we'll come around here, and again, we'll start really slow. And her hair hangs to a side part, so we're going to brush it, make sure it's in its style, and we're going to do the same thing. Pull our two fingers out, snip from the bottom, and then I'm going to come around, and I'm even going to take this little ponytail piece that I have and include it in so I can make sure it's the right length. And I'm going to snip. Okay, you can see just a bunch of little snips, and I'm going to compare to see that they're the same length. Can you see that? So if you've gotten your hair cut through a hairstylist, you'll see them use the same techniques. So there's nothing difficult about what we're doing. Maybe you need to be a little bit brave. My hairstylist told me she doesn't like to cut doll hair because it doesn't grow back. My theory is, though, as long as you're careful and you move nice and slow, with just removing a little bit at a time, then you can customize the hair of any of the dolls that you have. Cutting doll hair is not a bad thing. This is a way to make your doll friend unique to you. So the reason for Alexis having such long hair is that it gives the greatest amount of flexibility so that girls and moms can customize their Alexis. If they like really long hair, then they can use Alexis just the way she is right out of the box. But if you prefer a little bit shorter hair, get your scissors out and just follow the technique. And just remember just cut a little bit at a time, and you'll just slowly work your way up till you get to the level that you would like it to be. Now let me show another technique on the front. Here you can see we just have long straight hair. If you prefer that the hair is more feathered to the face, you can take these top layers here. I'm going to grab this piece here, and I'm going to graduate it or feather it into her hair. So by taking the scissors up to the top to where I want it to start, and by the way, this is the technique used on this strip, I'm going to start and I'm going to just take small little cuts. Little bit, all the way down. You can see I didn't remove very much, but what it does is it gives this nice little feather look that finishes along the side. Now you can do that to a smaller bit of hair, or you can do it to larger bits of hair. It also allows for this first layer to feather when you bring it back. That's a simple technique. I know it sounds scary, but if you're cutting just small amounts, you'll find that it works just beautifully. Okay? Now another technique you can use, so when you have the Alexis dolls that have lots of hair, this first top layer can get chunky, okay? Because there's a lot of hair. So one of the ways that we get the chunky to blend into the rest of the hair is to take the scissors and cut into the hair, just like that. Okay, so and then what it does is it thins out the hair and it blends better if you prefer not to have chunky layers. Although the chunky layer was part of the design because of the character in the book has chunky layers, and Alexis is actually originally the concept was in writing, in illustration, and then we went to create a vinyl product that would allow everybody to love Alexis and learn with Alexis. So I hope this video helped you, and I look forward to creating more videos. Thank you very much for supporting Alexis and being part of our family. If you have any if you have any questions, then you can email me at Ellen, ELLEN, at via-e.com. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.